Yeah, that was some night. I was homeless and hungry. And just when I thought it couldn't get any worse.
The serum!
This is way better than sticking your head out of a moving car!
Woohoo! Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. Today, we're thrilled to present the captivating tale of the 2007 film that blends family action, adventure comedy, fantasy, and science fiction genres, all centered around the theme of the underdog. Within the city's main municipal building, a gentleman is displaying unresolved criminal case documents. He appears to hold the role of the city's mayor. Accompanying him are skilled canines, specially trained to support law enforcement efforts. Among these canines is a beagle named Alpha Dog, an integral part of the police bomb squad. Suddenly, Alpha Dog begins to bark insistently, detecting a scent emanating from one of the boxes. This prompts an immediate evacuation of everyone in the room as a precautionary measure. And you criminals who do not be allowed to keep their own skin. Concurrently, the police and SWAT teams are dispatched to inspect the contents of the suspicious box. Upon investigation, it's revealed that the source of the scent was merely a piece of meat. Consequently, the room erupts in laughter, directed not only at Alpha Dog, but also at the other dogs that join in the jesting. Feeling embarrassed, Alpha Dog departs from the premises promptly, shedding his police uniform. Outside, he wanders aimlessly until a man leads him somewhere and confines him within a cage. Inside the enclosure, he encounters a hairless dog and inquires about the nature of the place. The hairless dog responds, explaining it during daylight hours. It functions as a haven for dogs, but at night, a transformation occurs, bringing about an entirely different atmosphere. The focus shifts to Dan Unger, a man gearing up for his workday. He serves as a security guard at a research facility. Shortly thereafter, Dr. Simon arrives at the location. Dr. Simon is a genetic scientist, and despite the lab's closure, he's granted access due to his full authorization.
All access, sir.
Assisted by his aide, Cat Lackey, Dr. Simon proceeds to a room containing Alpha Dog, with a considerable laboratory area nearby. Holding a grudge over a rejected genetic experimentation proposal, Dr. Simon intends to challenge the mayor's decision by testing a new serum on Alpha Dog. Cat removes Alpha Dog from the cage, but the dog seizes an opportunity to flee when Cat's attention lapses. Chaos unfolds as Alpha Dog inadvertently spills various chemical liquids, causing a commotion. Dr. Simon notices unusual changes in Alpha Dog's physique. To everyone's surprise, Alpha Dog manages to break free from the lab and escape. Some hair job! It works! Meanwhile, Dr. Simon is jubilant, believing his research to be a success. Unfortunately, in the midst of his celebration, he inadvertently triggers a monitor, leading to a fire erupting within the lab. Following his successful escape, Alpha Dog skillfully evades a confrontation with a Rottweiler called Riff Raff and his followers, who intend to harm him. While he's on the run, a car accidentally collides with him head-on. Remarkably, due to the effects of the serum, Alpha Dog remains unhurt. As events unfold, it becomes evident that the one who accidentally struck Alpha Dog is none other than Dan Unger. Upon recognizing Alpha Dog's charm, Dan makes the choice to bring the dog home, captivated by its adorable nature. The following morning, we observe Jack Unger, the son of Dan Unger, crafting a forged hospital permit to skip school. Before long, Dan summons Jack from outside and introduces him to the recently acquired Alpha Dog, whom he affectionately named Shoeshine due to the dog's action of licking his shoes. However, Jack experiences pangs of jealousy as Shoeshine garners attention. It's disclosed that Dan left his job in the police force to be more present in Jack's life after the passing of his wife. Nonetheless, Dan's schedule still seems quite hectic. After a while, Jack departs for school and Dan heads to work, leaving Shoeshine home alone. During this period, Shoeshine remains unaware of his newfound abilities, inadvertently causing a significant mess in the process. DNA. Then combine them any way I want. This will give him the speed of a cheetah. When Jack gets back home, he's taken aback by the total mess that's taken over the house. He grumbles while tidying up the place. While he's at it, Shoeshine, looking remorseful, comes over and says sorry for the mess. Turns out it was a mishap. Initially, Jack thinks it's his dad's voice, but then he realizes it's actually his dog talking. Wait a minute, you can understand me? Both of them are pretty stunned, which leads Jack to bolt out of the house. They end up at a park where Jack and Shoeshine chat about the whole crazy situation. Meanwhile, Shoeshine is also puzzled about how Jack could suddenly understand him earlier. Before long, they connect over their mutual crushes on Molly and Polly, who happen to be Jack's school friend and her dog. Once the girls head off, Jack stumbles upon a frisbee in the trash and playfully tosses it towards Shoeshine. What happens next blows his mind. Shoeshine's speed is off the charts. Jack goes a step further and tests Shoeshine's other abilities, leading to the discovery of super strength, heightened hearing, and an extraordinary sense of smell. In an unexpected turn, he even realizes he can hear Molly and Polly getting into trouble. They're being robbed. Shoeshine clues Jack in, and off they go. While on the way, Shoeshine stumbles upon yet another surprise. He can actually fly. Whoa! Though it's a bit wild, he can't quite keep a handle on this newfound power. In the end, he secretly swoops in, wards the robbers, and Molly reports the incident to the police. Then someone just swooped in and saved me. Afterward, Shoeshine and Jack head back home, with Shoeshine making sure Jack swears to keep his powers under wraps around others. They kick into high gear to tidy up the house before Dan shows up. Not long after, Cat makes an appearance at their doorstep with posters of Shoeshine. Jack quickly tricks him into leaving just in the nick of time before Dan arrives and finds the chaotic scene. Meanwhile, Dr. Simon and Cat are brainstorming ways to replicate the serum. They eventually locate a new hideout underground in the city and hatch a plan to carry out a robbery there, aiming to gather funds for rebuilding their previous lab. Perfect. Ooh, that's a good one. And here's that material. The next day, Jack mentions that his school's baseball team has a history of being the underdogs, which puzzles Shoeshine at first. But Jack breaks it down for him, and he gets what it means. Jack takes things up a notch by purchasing a book on teaching dogs good manners. With his superpowers, Shoeshine nails the commands like sitting, lying down, and rolling over in no time. As a little present, Jack hooks him up with a collar bearing his name and home address, a nice touch. During the nighttime, Jack shares a captivating tale about his father's commendable bravery that earned him recognition from the mayor. The mood shifts as they catch a news report detailing Cad's criminal exploit. This prompts Jack to convince Shoeshine to step in and thwart the robbery, much like his earlier heroics with Molly and Polly. Initially hesitant, Shoeshine ultimately agrees to Jack's proposal. Get back. You can put the dog door there! Upon arrival, Shoeshine ingeniously disguises himself as a fish and skillfully rescues the hostages. Observing the situation via monitor, Dr. Simon quickly alerts Cad that the dog in action was his former experimental subject. However, given Shoeshine's remarkable strength, Cad opts to make a swift escape from the scene. The very next day, Shoeshine's courageous deeds from the previous night make headlines on the news. Yet, he's not thrilled about the attention, as he prefers to keep his true identity under wraps. Ingeniously, Jack comes up with a plan and proposes that Shoeshine take on the persona of Underdog, stepping into the role of the city's very own superhero. He'd sport a clever disguise featuring a small red sweater and a blue cape. This concept gains traction, with his feats rapidly gaining coverage in both newspapers and news broadcasts. No need, right? Underdog got pipe. Meanwhile, Molly is piecing together clues to uncover the true identity of Underdog. Adding to the mix, the mayor announces plans to commemorate a special Underdog Day on a specific date. On a different note, Dr. Simon is facing continuous setbacks in his attempts to replicate the serum. Growing increasingly desperate, he dispatches Cat on a mission to collect a sample of Underdog's DNA. Cat adopts a disguise as an elderly woman in need of assistance. In a clever ploy, he appears to fall from a building, and Underdog swoops in to save him at just the right moment. Taking advantage of the situation, Cat secures a rope to Underdog's collar. In a quick realization, Underdog unmasks Cad's true identity. Without hesitation, he manages to break free from Cad's grip. Although Cad fails to capture Underdog, he does get hold of Underdog's collar, which contains crucial information: the secret identity's name and address. As time goes on, Shoeshine faces some rejection from Polly, but he eventually scores a date with her in his Underdog persona. Don't worry, I got you. You okay? Yes! Oh, I love the feeling of the wind in my fur. Yeah, I thought you might. I call it extreme off-leash. So have you worked up an appetite? Before long, things take a serious turn. Dr. Simon and Cad manage to seize Dan while he's at home with Jack and Underdog visiting Molly's place. At the lab, Dr. Simon compels Dan to contact Underdog for help. As soon as Underdog hears Dan's call, he alerts Jack, and they join forces to rescue him. Upon reaching the scene, Dan is taken aback to learn that Shoeshine can communicate like a human. Unfortunately, Dr. Simon employs Jack and Dan as hostages to coerce Underdog into surrendering his DNA. He then creates pills from Underdog's superpowers and injects Shoeshine with a serum that transforms him back into a regular dog.
Jack! Ah! I didn't want anyone to get hurt.
Additionally, he administers these super pills to 3 trained German shepherds, giving them enhanced abilities. Dr. Simon and Cad leave the family trapped in the sewers, but Dan's police skills come in handy as he helps everyone escape. They pursue Dr. Simon with a syringe filled with an antidote serum. At the city hall, Dr. Simon takes the mayor captive and instructs Cad to rig a bomb coated with mind-controlling serum on the rooftop. Molly and Polly follow discreetly. Shoeshine can still smell the bomb from outside. Battling his uncertainty, he decides to enter the building, despite having lost his superpowers. Unfortunately, Cad spots Molly and Polly, leading to their capture. Amid a tussle with Dr. Simon, Shoeshine accidentally spills his pocket's contents, releasing the super pills onto the floor. Reacting quickly, he swallows one of the pills, restoring his extraordinary abilities just like before. Underdog temporarily neutralizes the German shepherds upon hearing Molly and Polly's call for help. However, Dr. Simon consumes a pill that momentarily distracts Underdog by using a shield in a frisbee-like manner. Whoa! As the German shepherds recover, Underdog manages to convince them to turn against Dr. Simon, who hasn't treated them well. While they subdue Dr. Simon, Underdog emerges from the building and borrows Jack's costume. During this time, the mayor escapes from the building. Seizing the opportunity, Dan persuades the mayor to reinstate and elevate his position, allowing him to inject Dr. Simon with the antidote while placing him under arrest. Meanwhile, on a different front, Underdog makes his way to the rooftop, rescuing Molly and Polly. He instructs them to take the mind control serum to the police while he removes the bomb from danger. Underdog then safely buries the bomb deep underground just before it detonates.
Jack.
Shoeshine.
Jack.
Hit the like button if you liked it, subscribe if you loved it, and feel free to share this content with your friends and family as well. And don't forget to ring the notification bell to stay updated with our future videos. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next videos.